I was talking to somebody whom I consider a very powerful leader, and every time I talk to her, I can see that power in her voice, the way she speaks. And many times, people, just by opening their mouth, they can convey how good they are as a leader. And this person was going through a tough time. They had lost their job very recently, and they was looking for a job for the last 5 or 6 months. And now I spoke to this person very recently, and they have found a job. When I talked to them, I could sense that the same voice was not there, right? That confidence, that flow in their voice, that beauty, I would even say beauty in their voice was missing. And what I could notice was stress. I would notice mumbling. And I asked them, what is happening, right? And she told me that she got a job after a while, so she has to really prove herself. In her own words, that she's craving now to prove herself, and she's hanging by the straw because now she found a job after looking for so long. And she said that I have nothing else and I have to really prove myself, right? And I asked, how are you being, right? What is your emotional state right now? And I could notice this person told me that they were very stressed. They were overwhelmed. They had lack of time. They were trying too hard to make things happen. And they were trying to build new relationships. It was a new job, trying to understand everything, but then also trying to over deliver. They wanted to impress. They wanted to prove, right? Because they had lost their job and it took them around 6 months to find a new job. So they wanted to prove, right? So there was a lot of doubt which was creeping in. And I asked this person, right, will you become worthy or successful when you do the job that you have gotten well and when you prove yourself? Or did you get the job because you are already worthy and successful? And it stopped them in their tracks, right? Because in their mind they had to prove, right? They, in some way, when they lost their job, they lost their credibility, they lost their success with it. But I challenged them, right? Did you get this job because you were already successful, or will you become successful after you have proved yourself? And it's often a conundrum that we try too hard to make things happen, and by trying too hard we make it less likely to happen, right? And for this person, they were able to see that yes, I was hired in this role because they saw some value in me and they saw my past results, and the past results for this leader is a series of accomplishments, both in large organizations, both in the startups that this person has worked in. They had even one of their own startups they had ran for around 2.5 years. So looking back at their history, they have that history of recognition, they have that history of success, and it is so easy to miss that in that craving to prove themselves, in that craving to prove yourself, right? And then I asked this person, how is it going in the new job? And they told me that they were having trouble making relationships, they were having trouble understanding people, they have having trouble getting everything done, right? Because they were trying to do a lot, they were trying to prove themselves, and they were all over the place, right? They were trying to go beyond. This person was trying to go beyond what they were committed to or what they were hired for, and because of that they were feeling all over the place. And this was 2 months into the new job, and they were trying so hard to prove themselves, they were trying so hard to be an excellent performer, to feel okay with themselves, to feel okay with their credibility, with their success and with their abilities. And she told me that she's going above and beyond and will succeed in this job. They had no doubt of success because she's giving her best, and there is no way out, that she has to prove herself. That is what this person told me, and I challenged that. Right? Normally you admire hard work, right? Normally you admire, like, anybody who says that yes, I'll make it happen. Like, you see that element of force, that willpower, that strength, right? That I will work hard, but I will give it my all and I will make it happen. Normally people admire that, but one of my biggest learnings have been that how many times many of these societal norms or idioms are misplaced. And I challenged her that could it be that you're desiring to prove, or you're craving to prove yourself, is actually making it difficult for you to succeed. The same thing which she thought that she was doing to make sure or to increase her likelihood of success, which was working more, trying to go beyond, trying to prove herself at all times. I asked her, could it be that same craving, that same desire to prove was making it difficult for her to succeed? And could it be possible that if she can just relax, if she can just see the same brilliance, the same success that lies behind her, which the recruiters or which her manager, the CEO of that organization, saw in her when they hired her, if she can do the same for herself, she can simply relax, and instead of being all over the place, she can make focused and direct decisions, which would be very impactful. And by slowing down, by actually focusing on trusting herself, she will give others a chance to trust her. Because anytime when you're speaking from a place of nervousness, from anxiety, from being all over the place, do you think that doesn't reflect in your words? Do you think that doesn't reflect in your tone of voice? Do you think that doesn't communicate anything to the other person? That communicates more than the words that you're saying. That communicates more than whatever actions or emails or presentations you're presenting. So if you can trust yourself, if you can rely on your success without wanting to do anything or prove anything to anybody, if you can simply say that I am successful already, that I'm worthy already, and I was hired here for that in the first place, you will actually allow the future journey to become easier. You will increase the likelihood of success in the future if you can simply trust yourself rather than trying to prove your value to others all the time. Right? And it is a paradox sometimes that the thing that we think that we need to succeed is the same thing that is coming in our way, often without realizing, right? Without our realizing. And it becomes a huge blind spot for leaders. And many times it is visible to others, but not to yourself. And that is one role that I play as a coach, as a mirror, to show you the mirror. Can you see that what you're trying to do to be successful is actually the same thing that is coming in your way, right? So I want to ask you, are you making it too difficult for yourself as a leader? A big problem with high achievers or high performers is that they are always too self-critical, that they do not give themselves enough credit. And so I want to ask you, are you making it too difficult for yourself? And do the results that you produce create your success, your worthiness, or your value? Or are the results a proof of your success, your worthiness, and your value? Whatever your value is as a professional, whatever your worth is as a professional, whether you are an entrepreneur or whether you're working for somebody else, do your success, do the results that you produce determine your value, worth, and ability? Or does your ability, worth, and value determine the success or results that you will produce? Ask yourself what comes first. The answer to this question will probably change everything you do, and more importantly, how you do it. So if you're listening to this, I can make a very safe guess. You are already successful. You are already worthy. And any self-doubt you have is only coming in your way for future learning, for future growth, for future success. You cannot learn anything. You cannot grasp anything. You cannot listen. You cannot form trustworthy relationships if you cannot trust yourself. If you cannot believe in your own abilities, if you cannot believe in your own skills, nobody else can. And if you cannot be centered and calm when moving through your day, it will have an impact on what you are communicating, because your action speaks louder than your words. And I'm telling you, you have nothing to prove. Most leaders that I start working with, they're trying to prove something to somebody, but you have nothing to prove, and that will actually allow you to produce better results for your team, for your company, and for yourself. In the end, this was a very small 15-minute conversation. She was left with that I am already successful, and she was able to see that in her life there is enough evidence for that, and she has nothing to prove. The moment she got this, it was a big aha moment for her, and she had a big smile on her face. She took a deep breath, she slowed down, and it was like her whole body relaxed. I could see it even in video, like how her whole body, her posture went from trying to do something to completely relaxing, that I have this, I've got this. Right? I already got what it takes. And that brought a huge smile that slowed her down, and I could notice the same strength, I could notice the same confidence, I could notice the same flow in her voice, which was missing earlier. And I told her that this is exactly what your teammates need to see and interact with. Like the calmer, the happier, the relaxed you, still going for big results, but going it with your entire team and not alone, and not doing it while freaking yourself and anybody else out. The relaxed, the confident, the calm, the smiling person, the smiling leader is what your team needs to see. And this will allow you to serve your customers. This will allow you to serve your employees. This will allow you to serve your teammates rather than to prove anything to anybody. So once again, are you trying too hard to prove something which maybe you already have?